Well, investigators have already interviewed one of the key witnesses, Mark Judge, and they'll speak to Dr Ford, who gave evidence to Congress on Thursday. But, according to some reports, they don't plan to question the third accuser of Judge Kavanaugh, Julie Swetnick. Let's talk more about the investigation with former FBI agent Mike Campi, who joins us from New York. Mike, good to see you. Just set it out for us how the FBI gets its instructions from the White House. Is there a paper or a directive that comes from White House counsel?
Not that I'm aware of. I've never participated in an investigation that was directed by the White House. I've been an investigator for decades. I'm retired. And typically the investigation focuses on, in this instance, the witnesses with regard to Dr. Ford's allegation. So that would be a limited number of people. And I think there were three issues as an investigator that I would pursue. The polygraph examiner and his process of this polygraph exam. I'd go through that process of my understanding of listening to his interview. He was contacted at 8 o'clock at night by the attorneys who represented Dr. Ford. He did the polygraph 12 hours later. His typical process involved where you basically get a statement from the subject being polygraphed. If that statement wasn't prepared by his interview that next morning and instead provided to him by the attorneys, I would sort of drill down on that, how that evolved. The second issue that I would address is she apparently had a recovered memory with regard to this incident. And recovered memories can be an issue. There are false memories that can be created by a recovered memory. She's a doctor, and that's one of the things I would question her about. I would ask how her therapist participated with this process. Was she familiar with recovered memory? In recovered memory, medication can be utilized to recover a memory. And so you can create a false memory where somebody could actually pass a polygraph and believe this occurred. That could be faulty. So I would walk through that process as well.
Mike, is there enough time to do all this?
Well, the interviews of Dr. Ford, yes, and the interviews with regard to the witnesses that have been identified, yes. With regard to the process of the polygraph, yes, you can drill down on all those details and conduct that in a matter of days. The third part that I would pursue would be the interviews with regards to why the senator sat on this information since July.
Mike,
that type of
is there...
Yes, I'm sorry.
I see you're having trouble with your earpiece there. But can you tell me, is there a different standard of proof between this, which is an extended background investigation, and a criminal investigation?
Well, when you conduct your investigation, you're just trying to connect the dots with regards to the accuracy of the information that occurred. A criminal investigation still involves the same steps, asking the questions who, what, when, where, and how, and then following up on these questions to corroborate the information that was provided to you and the logic of what occurred. Dr. Ford seemed credible, but she had issues with regard to memory. I mean, she didn't even remember if her polygraph occurred the day of her grandmother's funeral or the day after. I mean, that type of thing, or the day before. All that seems suspect, and you're wondering, how did she come to this memory where she was certain about this sexual assault that occurred by Dr. Kavanaugh? Dr. Kavanaugh, on the other hand, he provided documents that were created decades ago, and you can corroborate whether the creation of these documents existed decades ago. So there's some,
obviously,
you know, if they were corrected recently.
A lot of information that they have to sift
absolutely.
through. Very, very difficult job for the FBI in this case. Mike Campi, thanks very much for